This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Do you play FanDuel and feel like you aren't creating consistent money-making lineups? Go over to the DFS Doctors on Twitter at the DFS Doctors and DM them with promo code Detroit Sports to get a free trial for their analytically formulated 70% lifetime profit rate NFL and NBA lineups. The whole purpose of playing daily fantasy sports is to get out there and compete and give yourself a chance to win. So go over to the DFS Doctors. Let them help you. They have analysts on staff that look at the best optimal lineup that you can put out there to win money. So why not take advantage? At the DFS Doctors, promo code Detroit Sports.
CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code Detroit to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
What's up, Detroit sports fans? Welcome back to the Fan Reporter Show, made by fans for fans, powered by the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I'm Nick, and sitting right across from me, well, I guess not really sitting right across from me, coming at you guys remotely, is our boy Andrew's going to give us this week's topics.
The Lions have made a few off-season moves. Darius Slay's rocking the boat, and cabin fever is really beginning to set in. Welcome to the first of what's bound to be many quarantine editions of the Fan Report.
Ah, yes, the quarantine editions. Gotta love them.
It's kind of weird, I'll be honest with you.
It's
not
real
being able to,
weird.
Look at you while I'm talking to you. I'm just looking at a wall.
I'm not gonna lie, it's real weird. I'm talking to an empty chair sitting right in front of me. It kind of bothers me a little bit, but you know what? We got to practice this thing called social distancing.
Yep.
Obviously, it is
responsible thing.
The coronavirus COVID-19 has essentially shut down the world as we know it.
Whoever had the over-under at under 1 minute, you guys won for the coronavirus mention.
Yes, actually pretty much right at 1 minute. And if you're wondering, I have the timer right next to me. No, obviously it's going to be kind of hard to talk sports and everything moving forward because in all reality, sports are not happening. Luckily, we did have
and the stuff that is happening kind of feels insignificant almost.
Right, but we did have a rambunctious week with the Lions, so there is quite a bit to talk about there. There's not really all that much to talk about with the Pistons because their season's been shut down. The Wings season's been shut down. Baseball's been suspended for the time being.
You know how much it annoys me the Pistons season got shut down because we were so close to getting in that top three. We were right there.
Oh, I know.
Like a game out. We were so close.
I know. This is a crazy time that we're all going through right now, and it's scary. It's different.
I honestly, I feel like I feel like I'm in I feel like I've been put in a nursing home. Like I just go outside just to go outside for a minute and just to look at the trees and then come back in.
Ooh, this is pretty.
Like this is what outdoors feels like.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. It's weird not seeing anybody. It's weird basically because I still obviously have to go to work, working in, where I do work.
Fortunately, I can work from home. So
yes, I mean, I guess I am kind of half working from home, half working from on site. But
yeah,
it's weird, and I still work my same schedule, and every single day I drive, and the roads are completely empty during rush hour. Like the other day, my normal commute to work is about 20-25 minutes. I made it to work in 11 minutes the other day. I thought I was going to be a couple minutes late, and I looked at the clock as I was pulling in and going, whoa, that only took me 11 minutes. What the hell?
I've been curious what my drive to work would be like because I drive about 40 minutes.
Right. I bet you your drive would probably be closer to like 30-35 minutes if you were, kind of briskly moving along.
Well, I've made it in 35 minutes on a normal day before, just with traffic being a little lighter. But I'd assume
there's literally nobody out right now.
So yeah, I'd assume 30. I'd assume I can make it in 30 flat.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's weird being on the road in rush hour and seeing just nobody out. It's different. It's all the restaurants are closed. Like I was thinking about what I was going to do. It was Friday night last night. What am I going to do tonight? Well, nothing. What can I do? I went home and I sat there. I sat there and I watched TV and did nothing. I'm starting to run out of things to entertain myself.
It's annoying because normally on a Saturday, I wake up and I'm like, all right, let's get some studying done. So I'll free up my night, go have some fun. I'm like, well, first off, I'm done. I don't have my finals are done. I have nothing to study, and I got nowhere to go. Like, what am I doing in my life right now?
It's weird because all of a sudden we have all of this time, considering people are either working from home or not working at all. So we have all this time, and we have all this free, ability to do stuff. Like you aren't in school right now, and our buddy Alex's school is pretty much shut down. And then all of a sudden, it's just we can do nothing. We can't go out to eat. We can't go to the bar. We can't even go see each other half the time.
It sucks because this is like the 2 weeks each semester. There's like the 2 weeks I really milk and have fun. Like
right.
Now I'm wasting it just sitting at home.
Yeah, and that's all you really can do. And I can only expect as the numbers continue to rise. I think we've hit over 700 cases as of today. Today being Saturday the 21st, as the cases continue to rise, they're only going to be locking down more and more. I think they finally locked down playgrounds and playscapes today, which I thought they had done a while ago, but apparently not.
Oh, they did not. I went for a walk this week. I went to basically walking around like Walled Lake, like the lake over there, and there's an area there where there is like a playscape. That thing was full. I'm like, what are these parents doing? They're just like, I'm like, why are there so many kids?
I'm sorry, but children are crawling with germs. I would not, if I had a child, I would not let him or her on a playscape in a time like this. Children are crawling with germs. They're disgusting.
Yeah,
but. Either way, the world obviously must go on, and the sports world, albeit at a standstill at the moment, must go on. Yeah. The movie world, albeit at a standstill at the moment, must go on. And unfortunately, that's pretty much what we talk about as sports, movies, and random debauchery, which none of which are allowed right now. But we did have a kind of a busy week this week with free agency and the quote unquote legal tampering period in the NFL, as well as some trades that kind of went down with the Lions. So we're going to kind of break into those a little bit. Unless you had anything else you wanted to add about COVID. I mean, it's scary.
We're going to be getting pretty creative with topics, so brace yourselves.
Yeah, we're going to have to. I will say I advise all people to stay indoors. Do not go outside. Don't go in groups of more than 5 to 10 people. If you really are desperately needing to go see somebody, make sure you have a damn good reason. Make sure you're clean. If you have been exposed, stay inside. And please do not flood the hospitals. If you think you're sick, that doesn't mean go to the hospital. Stay home, call your doctor. They'll diagnose all you over the phone and through telemedicine and everything, but do not flood the hospitals. You don't need to be there. You don't need to go just because you think you have COVID or anything like that. Hospitals are completely overloaded right now. They don't have enough staff. They don't have enough protection for the nursing staff and for the doctors. It's a nightmare right now in these hospitals. So stay away. If you have to go because you can't breathe, go. I 100% advise you to go. But if you just feel like you have the flu, you just have a fever, you just have a cough, don't go, please. But beside that, the Lions had a for lack of better terms, a Patriot-filled week. I believe they signed, what was it, 3 former Pats and then traded for one.
It's laughable at this point.
It really is. It really is. Here's the offseason moves that we have so far. They signed offensive tackle Halapoulivaati Vaitai.
Nice pronunciation. There you go. You nailed it.
I don't really know, but that's how I would think it is. Awesome name.
You went right into that. Like you're like, I got this.
I straight up sounded it out. Not gonna lie. They signed Jamie Collins, outside linebacker from the Patriots. They cut Devon Kennard in response to signing Jamie Collins. We'll get into that one a little bit because Devon Kennard was kind of a fan favorite and also was one of the more productive players in the defense. They signed defensive tackle Nick Williams. They also signed defensive tackle Danny Shelton from the Patriots. They acquired safety Duron Harmon from the Patriots. They signed cornerback Desmond Trufant from the Falcons, and then they ended up trading their star corner Darius Slay to the Eagles, who then signed him to like a $50 million 3-year extension.
And boy, did the drama pop off from there.
Oh, yeah. Well, the drama started when we'll start with the Trufant and Slay stuff. So when the Lions signed Trufant, Slay tweeted out or went on Instagram, whatever it was, that, good for my boy. Maybe this will help speed up my trade situation or trade talk or something like that. Which that's really not any kind of new news that he wanted out. He talked about how he wanted out earlier in the offseason, like 3 months ago. He talked about how he wanted to be traded earlier. This wasn't any kind of new news. There was a lot of people that were very upset with the return on what the Lions got in the 3rd rounder and the 5th rounder from this season for Darius Slay, which I understand the frustration there. And you're in that boat. I'm actually on the other side where I think, honestly, what did you expect? And so I'll get your side first, and then I'll give you my take on it as well. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start off by saying I fully anticipated us moving Slay. Where my frustration really lies with this is more so the Lions' handling of the whole situation, allowing it to get to a point where it got so public that it lowered their trade leverage, and also like the rumor came out that the Eagles were interested about like a day before Slay got traded, and then the next day you see he got traded. So I would just it kind of irked me a little bit. I'm like, all right, so if you have an offer on the table from the Eagles, like, did you guys really accept it that quick? Did you guys not try to leverage it, try to see what else you can get from other teams with that offer on the table?
You also have to understand.
The root of it really is that they waited this long and allowed it to get this public to where Darius Slay is only going for a 3rd and a 5th.
Well, one, I think they waited this long because I don't think they were legally allowed to make trades until the new league year happened. So let's start by saying that, which happened this past week. So I don't even think they were allowed to make a trade at all until that happened. So obviously it wasn't really they waited this long. It was they had to.
Well, didn't it kind of become public? Like Slate, at least Slate's dissatisfaction become public during the season last season.
There was
basically after Glover Quinn got traded.
Right. There was reports of some slight dissatisfaction with Darius Slay before Glover Quinn got traded. But what do you want the Lions to do in that regard? And I'm not one to defend the Lions, but what do you want the Lions to do if the dude's going to hop on social media or go, do whatever he wants in an interview? What do you want him to do? If he's going to go out, he's his own man. He's a big boy. He's allowed to go and speak his mind whenever he wants. What do you want him to do at that point? They can't stop him from talking. They can't put tape over his mouth. If he wants to talk and voice his frustration on any platform that he has, then so be it. That's what he's going to do. They can't do anything about that. And we can't really say that they waited all that long to make this trade, considering the league year just happened. If anything, they rushed to make this trade before even free agency started. And so
I'm saying once that the offer was on the table, they rushed to do it.
We don't know if that trade's been kind of under the table, talked about for several weeks now or several months.
Possible.
And
we don't also illegal discussions,
right? And there also could have been illegal discussions with other teams as well. In my personal belief, is again, what did you expect? And I have plenty of reasons for that. One, Slay had already voiced his opinion way long time ago. There was nothing the Lions could do about that. He had said he wanted out a long time ago. That's just the fact of the matter, that you lost leverage at that point. Secondly, he's on a 1-year deal now where he obviously wasn't going to get a deal done because the Lions didn't want to pay him $17 million a year for a 30-year-old corner. That's number one. And two, you also had to understand that they had to dwindle their trade options down based on the fact that there's only a handful of teams out there that are willing to take on a 30-year-old cornerback and that they also have to re-sign immediately to an extension that is big money. So you're talking probably
what do
maybe
you get 2 years, $50 million for
3 years, $50 million at 17 a year, if I remember right, or something like that. I know it was 17 a year, and I think it was a 3-year extension. So you're talking there's only a handful of teams that would, one, want to be able to take that on, and two, even be able to take that on because of cap reasons. So at that point, your options are already dwindled, and you've already lost all your leverage at that point because of him publicly announcing that he wants out. The fact of the matter with the contract, you don't have any leverage as the Lions, and plus, if you don't get a deal done and you don't re-sign him, the likelihood of him holding out is very high. So if that's the case, which didn't he hold out to start training camp last year along with Snacks? I thought he was.
I believe he did.
I think he did. So there was no doubt in my mind he was going to hold out going into this offseason, the OTAs and all that, whenever they start in training camp. So at that point, what leverage do you have at all, if any? You don't. And then, the return, what did you expect here? We were never going to get a first-round pick for Darius Slay. He's a 30-year-old cornerback that wants an extension on an average. I don't even think he could have gotten that. Because again,
he's still one of the best coverage corners in the league.
Okay.
Even at 30.
If you want to crucify me for saying this in Detroit, fine. Personally, I think here in Detroit we overrated Darius Slay a little bit. Just a little. He's a great cornerback. Top 10, no doubt. Is he one of the top 3 to 5 best corners in the NFL? That's where I say pump the brakes. I don't know. He did not have a good year last year, and he's very obviously been on the downtrend in his last few seasons. His best season was probably 2 or 3 years ago. So since then, he's not been as good. Still very good. Still one of the premier corners in the NFL. But
that's crazy. I think it's been that long.
Oh, I know.
Since Slay was at his peak. I remember when he was a rookie, what this kid can do.
Right.
It's insane.
But he's a very, very good corner. But one, I don't believe in paying corners $17 million a year. Somebody else can, sure, fine. But two, the reason you're not going to get a first or second round pick for this guy is because look at the track record for cornerbacks once they hit 30 years old. It's not good, in case, just if you want the Cliff Notes version. It's not good. Yeah. Plus, you're talking having to pay him even more money, which is a detriment to a trade opportunity there. You're talking having to sign him to an extension, which you don't have any leverage at that point. It hurts your value as a piece to trade and you have to re-sign the player to a big-time contract. We had heard reports dating, I think it was a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, that when the Lions were looking to potentially shop Darius Slay around, the expected return is not as high as you would think. You're looking at the starting point being around a third-round pick. That was every report I saw from people at the Combine or at the Senior Bowl, talking to other GMs, trying to see what's going around and what the value for a guy like that would be when Matthew Stafford was talked about potentially being traded, etc. That was the starting dollar for a guy like Darius Slay. He's a 30-year-old corner that is going to require a big-time extension, who's also kind of a loudmouth. So with that being said, what do you expect to get in return? And a third-round pick is exactly what I would think at that point, and then you were able to get a fifth-round pick as well. I don't think it's a terrible trade. Does a third-round pick, does the value of a third and a fifth equal to the value of what Darius Slay brings to you every given Sunday? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The only true value you would get
gold with that third,
right? But that you're hitting a lottery ticket at that point. The only true value to match to a guy of the caliber of Darius Slay is getting a first round pick, but you were never going to get that. You got as much as you could for a guy who very obviously did not want to be here any longer. And at that point,
I thought the second was very much on the table, though.
I did not at all. I really did not, because of the fact of what the track record of 30-year-old corners is like. Plus, you have to add in the fact that the team has to sign them to an extension. Because of that, you don't have as many teams that you're able to work with. I bet you there was maybe 5 or 6 teams that even were thinking about doing something like this. And at that point, what are they willing to offer? I bet you that there were trade packages out there that were like a 5th and a 6th rounder for them. And the Lions probably said, no, thank you, obviously. Bet you there were trade packages of a 4th and a 5th, and the Lions said, no, thank you. Or a 3rd and a 6th, and they said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Why would they go and just take the first offer on the board of the cheapest offer? Nobody does that. If it's the only offer, it's the only offer. But nobody's going to take the cheapest offer out there if you're trading a player like that away. You're going to take the best offer you get, and that probably was what the Eagles offered them, a third and a fifth.
Yeah, that's what I'm not questioning whether it's the best offer they had on the table. I'm questioning, did they really take the time to really gauge other offers? That's what I was questioning.
I'm sure they did, because it's been no secret Darius Slay wanted out for the last 3 months. I'm sure there's other teams that have thrown offers out to him and they've said no thank you to him. I would have no doubt about it.
Anyway, let's talk about post-trade real quick.
Well, we could talk about his replacement, Desmond Trufant.
What's up?
We could talk about his replacement in Desmond Trufant.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. I just want to get Slay out of the way, talk about what happened after we traded him, or should we save that?
No, go ahead.
So after he got traded, he gave an interview on Thursday to WJR Radio. He said, "I wanted to stay for a minute, but I knew how me and Patricia were, and that wasn't going to last long." He went on to say that, where'd it go? Sorry. He went on to say that, basically, to paraphrase, there was an incident early on in Patricia's coaching career that Patricia called him out in front of the whole team. It was during a film session, and I'm trying to find the exact quote, but it has escaped me at the moment. But do you remember the exact quote, Nicholas, that he said to him, or something?
Well, the one that I remember was the one about social media when Darius Slay was posting a picture of another receiver, giving him props on social media, and Matt Patricia came up to him and publicly basically said, "Why you, you know, yeah." Which
something vulgar. Not that we're any strangers to vulgar on the show, but
no, please go ahead and say it. I don't care.
Why don't you stop S-ing that man's D? Let's put
we'll go with that. Which obviously Darius Slay took offense to that. It was in front of everybody. It was obviously very embarrassing for him. But Matt Patricia's come out.
He hasn't respected Matt Patricia since.
Which I think at that point, honestly, I think Darius Slay needs to grow up a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I think he needs to grow up a little bit. It was a dig. How many times do we say that to each other? How many times do we say it? All the time. Do any of us ever hold a grudge that long because of it? Absolutely not. I'm sorry, but Darius Slay, you need to grow up a little bit about that. It was a dig at you very early on. Get over it. You're a big boy. You can handle having some shit talk to you a little bit.
But then Garrett Hudson, another former Lion, who, I mean, I think he was with the Lions just for like training camp.
A hot minute.
But he said that Matt Patricia is literally the worst person I've ever encountered in my entire football career. And I was excited when the Lions cut me. It was that bad. It adds to the pile of players complaining about Matt Patricia. But I don't know how seriously you want to take these comments, especially from a guy who was just with the team for training camp.
I was going to say, how much weight do you put on a practice squad dude's comments?
Because even when you're playing like high school basketball, coaches act like much. I feel like coaches were acting like much more of hard asses when it was early on, or even in tryouts, than when you're in the thick of the season. They kind of ease up a bit.
Right. They got to set the tone for the season. That's I mean, that was what was talked about when Patricia first came in entirely, was he's got to set the tone on how he's going to run the ship. This isn't the kindergarten playland gumdrops and bubblegum that Jim Caldwell ran anymore. This is going to be a hard, tough-nosed camp that we are going to run very tightly, and that's just how things are going to be.
Not that I'm defending Patricia, though, by the way.
I'm not defending Patricia either way. I don't think he's a good football coach. I think he's a terrible football coach. But regardless,
I don't want people to blow. I think this could easily get blown out of proportion, is all I'm trying to say.
I really do. I agree with you 100% there. I absolutely think this can be completely blown out of proportion. I'm not going to take the weight of someone who is here for long enough to take one shower in the locker room. I'm not going to put any weight on what they say. Yeah. And Darius Slay, I do think, needed to grow up a little bit from that situation. Granted, I also don't think Patricia's done himself any favors either in that regard. I don't think he's been the best players coach out there, to be honest. I think he's been a terrible players coach. I think he's caused a lot of rifts in the locker room.
Agreed.
But anything else to add to that?
No. We can move on to Trufant.
Okay, obviously the Lions, in response to, I guess technically first, they signed cornerback Desmond Trufant, longtime star corner, Can you consider him a star?
Former star corner. He was what, All Pro 2 years ago?
He was a solid corner for the very solid corner for the Atlanta Falcons. He's 29 years old. They signed him to what, a 2-year deal?
I believe so.
2-year deal at what?
Yeah, 2-year, $13 million.
2-year, $13 million total, or 13 a year?
No, sorry, 2-year, 21. 13 is fully guaranteed.
Okay, all right. You know what though? I'll take that deal. Desmond Trufant's a very fine corner. I think he can, take on the number 1 just fine. I still think we need a number 2. I don't really want it to be Jeff Okudah, as I've said, but I think it's a solid signing, especially considering you were getting rid of Darius Slay either way. So it was a good move. It was something that they had to do. I don't dislike it at all. What?
I misspoke. He was not an All-Pro. He was a Pro Bowler in 2015.
What the heck was that? How did we just hear that? I'm such a big supporter sound. Someone quite
so for those of you who aren't familiar with our live show, that would be the sound that plays when someone follows us.
So quite literally a few seconds ago, someone just followed us on Twitch, and I don't know why.
But anyway, so I misspoke. Desmond Trufant was a Pro Bowler in 2015. He was not an All-Pro.
He was not an All-Pro. Okay. No. But he's still a solid corner. Hopefully he'll make an impact on this defense and be a veteran leader. But going to the list of Patriots that they signed, if you want to take that away.
This will be fun. All right, so we did sign defensive tackle Danny Shelton from the Patriots. We signed linebacker Jamie Collins from the Patriots. And we traded for safety Duron Harmon, also from the Patriots.
Which...
3 Patriots players in the span of like 2 days.
Right. Now, mind you, they had to shore up their defensive line because they've obviously lost Snacks Harrison. They lost Ashawn Robinson, and I think they even lost another name on that D-line as well. So they basically had nobody left in the roster to fill the holes in the D-line. So Danny Shelton is a guy who's probably going to be a rotational guy in the middle for them along their defense. To pair up along with Nick Williams, who's going to be probably in the middle on defense as well in a rotational situation.
Vitae will replace Rick Wagner, who they cut.
Yep, they cut Rick Wagner as well. Vitae will take his place there. There was one guy that I wish they re-signed. I'll call it 2. 2 guys that they did not re-sign that they very easily could have, in my opinion. I don't think for all that much money. Obviously, one was going to be more expensive than the other, but disappointed, honestly, they didn't re-sign. One of those guys was Ashawn Robinson. I know he hasn't stepped up to the level that he could, but I think he's a guy who would be a very solid rotational guy along that D-line. The other one that really bothered me, and he's already got a new job. I'm not surprised at all that he's got a new job. I thought he was a very versatile, very fine player along the line, is Graham Glasgow. Why the hell did we let this guy walk?
Yeah, I agree with you.
I thought he was such a fine player along that O-line. He could fill 3 different positions along the O-line.
He went to Denver, right?
Right. Why did we let this guy walk? I never understood that. I don't get it. I thought Graham was a fantastic lineman along there.
Let's see what the market was for him. How much did he sign in Denver for? Let me pull this up real quick. So he signed for, it was a $44 million contract.
And it isn't like he's old. He's still fairly young.
4 years, 44 mil, 26 guaranteed.
So 11 mil a year, 26 guaranteed. That's worth re-signing him. How much did you give Rick Wagner to spend about 7 games on the actual line the other year? I mean, again, obviously both lines need to be rebuilt. There's no question about that. They've started with Danny Shelton, Nick Williams, and on the defensive end, and then Halapulavati Vitae on the offensive side.
All right. Now you butchered it.
Yeah, I did. Halapulavati, I don't know. But and Duron Harmon, I really don't know much about to give you an honest opinion about him. It looked like what the Lions were doing were bringing in guys that they're familiar with to be rotational pieces, and that they know where they can put them, they know how to use them, and that's just going to be rotational guys that they're going to have there to just rely on if they need to. I don't know what their guys up top are going to be, but who knows? So, but that's what it looked like to me. Obviously, free agency is still very early on, and that's not even talking about Jamie Collins and the Devon Kennard situation, because I wanted to put those separate. Now, obviously, Vitae is. I don't think he wasn't a Patriot, was he? I don't think he was.
Vitae?
Yeah. No, he was
I
an
don't
Eagle.
think so.
He was
I
an
don't
Eagle.
think so.
He was with Philly. But either way, I think it was just what the Lions were doing was grabbing rotational type situations. Now,
They haven't made that big splash I was hoping they'd make. Obviously, everyone hopes they'll make a big splash every year, but
right, I think
lot of
their big.
rotation.
I think their big splashes were Jamie Collins and Desmond Trufant. I think that's two of their bigger splashes. I would hope that one of the guys that I wish they would sign, I think, is the nose tackle from Cincy. What's his name? Hang on just a second.
I remember a lot of people were calling for the Lions to hop on one of the free agent running backs like Melvin Gordon, Todd Gurley.
Honestly, no thank
Both
you.
have signed since.
Right, but no thank you.
I don't want Gurley. I wouldn't mind Melvin Gordon. I did not want
again,
Todd
Melvin Gordon. If here's the way I look at it. If the Chargers were willing to pay his replacement and not him, what's that tell you?
Well, Eckler was killing it, so
I know, but if they were willing to pay his replacement but not him, what's that tell you? Obviously, he wasn't very, highly regarded in that, on that team.
So you think
why
he
would we
still
care?
hasn't fully recovered from those injuries?
Well, I
It
mean,
sounded like
last
most of
year
year.
was his holdout. Last year was his holdout. I think he's fully recovered from the injuries.
Well, he looked slow when he was playing. Like he did not look.
That's because he didn't have an off season.
True.
But either way, either one, and also I think Melvin Gordon's one of those guys who's got a ton of miles on the tread for how old they are.
Yeah, I agree.
The
with
Chargers ran the shit out of him. Todd Gurley, just no, thank you, entirely no, thank you. I don't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
But Shelby Harris is a guy that I would have liked to see them grab. I think he may even be signed now. Did he sign somewhere?
I am.
No,
I am
he is
very
not.
interested. It is very interesting to me that the Broncos of all teams are who signed Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, that is considering
They have
Philip
two
Dorsett.
solid running backs.
Yeah, they do have, or Ted Lindsay, or not Ted Lindsay.
No.
Jesus, Philip Lindsay. I'm gonna get the name right one of these times, I swear.
And Royce Freeman too.
Yeah. Well, Royce Freeman sucks. He sucks. But I would like to see the Lions sign another guy along the defensive line. Maybe obviously shore up the offensive line a little bit too. And then a running back, which again, with the running backs in the draft, you could potentially go running back in the draft here to get your second guy to carry on Johnson, or maybe your primary guy to carry on second. It depends on how you want to play your offense, but
at least like injury insurance, you need that.
Right, so there is an option there.
Carry on's yet to prove that he can
Stay
play a
healthy.
full season.
Right. Here's a name, and I want to get your thoughts on it before we move on into Jamie Collins and Devon Kennard.
Yeah.
On the free agent market, plays a position in need. You may have heard his name a time or two. Ndamukong Suh.
Ah.
What do you think about kicking the tires on him again and bringing him back?
I'll be honest with you. I don't hate it. I don't hold a grudge against the guy. It's a position in need. I think he's at an age where he may not come too expensive anymore.
He is 33 years old. It'll be his, I think, fourth team in 4 years now because he was with Miami, then the Rams for a hot second, and then he was with Tampa last year. He's not the explosive player he used to be, but
He's still effective.
He is still effective. He's solid. He's effective against the run. He's able to play every down in any kind of scheme. I think he would be a guy that would be solid on this team if they want to compete. I have yet to believe that this team isn't rebuilding. I fully believe this team is rebuilding. I personally don't believe in the they must make the playoffs mandate that Martha Ford supposedly put on them. I don't believe in it, but if it's true, obviously this could be a guy.
They're not treating this offseason like it so far.
Right, exactly. That would be a move that if the Lions were to make it, that would tell me that that's a move that they're looking to compete this year. But so anything else to add, or do you want to close off with the Devon Kennard, Jamie Collins stuff?
Well, before we get to the Devon Kennard, one thing we didn't mention was the Lions signing Chase Daniel.
Yes. Oh God.
Yeah. Well, the reason I want to bring it up is we had speculated on the show before. Well, not speculated. We'd mentioned on the show before how badly we want the Lions to sign Tua and how it's probably not going to happen.
Draft Tua.
Sorry, draft Tua. But because of that, we were saying that we should at least be pretending or setting signals out there, putting up a smoke screen like we're going to draft Tua to up the value of our pick. Do you think Lions signing Chase Daniel has lowered the value of our pick do you think it telegraphs that we're not going to draft Tua?
I think it's either a telegraph that we're not drafting Tua, or it's something that's causing other teams to kind of go, wait, what? And kind of question what's really going on in the front office. And now, mind you, this could totally be a Matt Flynn type situation going to Seattle where they signed him to a multi-year deal, and then they still drafted Russell Wilson, and the rest is history. But regardless, this was a big question mark move for me because, again, I am in the camp that I want them to draft a quarterback early. Matthew Stafford's not getting any younger. I don't know exactly what they're doing anymore, and I don't know what their game plan is, but I do think this may hurt their value at that pick a little bit. I wonder if they've heard reports that whoever's going to be picking at number 2 is going to pick Tua Tagovailoa. If that's what's going to happen, then so be it. But I don't know if you can guarantee that whoever's going to be at number 2 is going to pick Tua because we don't even know who's picking at number 2 yet.
Yeah,
because the Redskins are still looking to shop that pick if they don't take them themselves. So who knows? But it definitely made me kind of tilt my head and go, wait a minute, hold up. At least for a hot minute, I don't quite understand it still. I don't like the signing. I guess I can understand it if you're not going to draft Tua for sure. Mm-hmm. But at that point, why give that away? You know what I mean? Maybe they're looking to roster 3 quarterbacks this season. I don't know. But either way, I don't love the move. Chase Daniel's not exactly a good quarterback.
I agree with you 100%. You basically took the words out of my mouth. I don't really have much to add. It doesn't make the move makes no. I understand the need of depth behind Stafford, but I honestly would have waited till after the draft.
Agreed. So let's go ahead and close things off with the whole Devon Kennard, Jamie Collins situation here. Obviously, the Lions signed another former Patriot in Jamie Collins, the outside linebacker.
Yes.
And then immediately cut outside linebacker Devon Kennard. So they went pass rush for pass rush here. And a lot of people were pretty upset about it, considering the fact that Devon Kennard has been a productive player for the Lions over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And you were one of them. Mm-hmm. I also am in the camp of I wish we would have kept Devon Kennard because, and I understand Jamie Collins and Devon Kennard play very similar positions. I understand that. Both are pass rushing guys. That are coming more of a fourth rusher in the 3-4 scheme, or a little bit of coverage linebacker, but not much. But my personal belief in why this move happened is Devon Kennard's not a very good coverage linebacker. Jamie Collins is probably slightly better, and is also probably a slightly more versatile player at his position than Devon Kennard is. Because Devon Kennard is basically just a guy that's going to go get the quarterback for you and make a tackle there. But again, I'm also in the belief of you can never have too many pass rushers, especially good ones.
Yeah.
So why? Maybe there's some chemistry between Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins that we don't know about, and they work well together. I don't know. But you can never have too many pass rushers, so I don't quite understand why they just immediately cut Devon Kennard, unless it was for cap casualty, whatever, or cap relief. But either way... is Jamie Collins really that much better than Devon Kennard? I don't really know. I mean, he has been, but Devon Kennard's also been pretty productive. So I guess
that's my question. Here is he that much better to where you want to get a guy that's about 2 years older than Devon Kennard? He turns 31 early in the season next season,
right?
He's that much closer to his eventual decline in the linebacker position. Was this really a move worth making? Did you get that much better to justify this move? That was my speculation. Was it I felt like it was at best a lateral move, which is why it didn't make sense to me.
Right. No, I agree with you. And the age factor is something that I don't really like either, considering I don't believe this team is ready to compete. I think they need to build. I was hoping Devon Kennard would be part of this pass rush of the future. Mm-hmm. And Jamie Collins with his age, I don't think can be a part of the pass rush of the future for this team. Yeah. So it just didn't make sense to me. I would have liked to see them stick with Kennard. Unless he wanted out himself, I don't really know. I mean, there's so many question marks with this front office and the personnel that we just do not know right now.
Yeah.
But
like, I don't even know what direction they're trying to go in anymore. I don't know what's going on.
It's so confusing because you look at it at moves like signing Jamie Collins and cutting Devon Kennard, and you're going, okay, they're trying to compete now. But then they're making other moves that you're going, okay, but now they're rebuilding. It just doesn't make sense. And I've always, this is where I start to really question what Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia are really doing with this front office. Obviously, Matt Patricia doesn't have as much say in the front office, but what Bob Quinn is doing in the front office here, does he know what he's doing? I don't really know.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's directionless.
It really is.
We're treading water. It's what's happening.
They clearly drowned last year, though.
So, all of the moves that we made so far this offseason, which one would you say you like the most, if there is one you like most?
I'm going to pick two. The two I like are the signing of Desmond Trufant.
Okay.
And the signing of Halapula Velati, whatever. Vitae.
Let me try it. Halapulavati Vitae.
There you go.
Vitae.
Yeah. Signing him as well because obviously Rick Wagner was not successful there. So putting someone else in a spot who has had some success, I like that signing as well. So those are the two moves I would say I definitely think I like the most out of all of them.
Mm-hmm. Call me naive. I agree with you on the Halapulavati Vitae. God damn, I had to think. But the other one I kind of think could go under the radar because even though this guy hasn't had the greatest career, I still see a lot of potential in him, and we got him for cheap, is Danny Shelton, who we ended up getting from the Patriots. He's a former first-round pick not too long ago. I want to say 2015 or 2016. And he did improve last year with New England. So I do like he is 27, so he's 26 or 27, so he's not like he's not exactly chicken. He's not exactly a spring chicken, not as moldable as he would have been as a rookie, but I still feel like the potential's there. But call me naive. It could just be me being naive. I don't know.
No, that's a fair one. I think Danny Shelton could be an important part of that defensive line going into next year as well. So,
yeah.
But is that all we got?
What other? Do we have any other? I mean, there's plenty, but if there's one position that we haven't addressed that you want the Lions to address going forward this offseason, do you have one?
I mean, I would like to see them address more pass rush. I would like to see them sign a second cornerback. Mm-hmm. I would like to see them. I kind of want to see him grab another receiver because Marvin Jones, I believe, is on his last year of his deal. I also want to see him obviously address the back.
We may lose Danny Amendola, I believe, too. I don't know.
I thought they re-signed him already.
Did they actually re-sign him?
I think they did.
They did. I missed it.
I also want him to obviously grab someone in the backfield as well to split time with Carry-On. So, but
you're right. They signed him to a 1-year contract.
That's what I thought.
So the one I've been thinking about because initially I had thought, and I don't know why I thought this, I had thought that Jamie Collins played inside, and I was like, "Are we trying to move on from Jared Davis?" And that got me thinking, like, is it time to move on from Jared Davis, or do you still see potential there?
Well, the thing that it's what they're going to have to do, and I think it's going to have to happen after this season, is take your pick between Jared Davis and the guy they drafted in the second round from Hawaii last year. His name is slipping my mind.
Jelani Tavai.
Yes. They're going to have to take their pick between those two guys because they can't play together on the field. So it's going to have to be one of those two that you're going to keep moving forward and move on from the other and build your linebacker core outside. But Jamie Collins is not going to be a guy. If I recall, Jamie Collins is the guy that they're going to have be outside. I may be wrong on that. I could have sworn he was an outside guy. But either way, I think they're going to have to choose between Tavai and Jared Davis going into next offseason.
Yeah.
So let's close things out with this. MSN.com has posted free agency grades for all 32 teams so far. And we're obviously just going to highlight the Lions here. And they talk about the signing of Danny Shelton, Jamie Collins, losing Rick Wagner and Graham Glasgow, bringing in Vitae and trading and Trufant, and then trading Darius Slay. The grade they give them is a C. So I want your grade, and then I'll give mine, and I want a reason also.
I don't disagree because, again, the moves, while not inherently bad moves, they just feel directionless. So I can't say, like, I can give them a B or an A, which I would use a positive grade. And I can't say you got worse. I can't say D or F. So like I feel like they're treading water with these moves. So I actually agree with that C.
I'm gonna 100% agree with you as well. I'm gonna say C also because if I had to put a word on the Lions offseason so far, it's meh. Their offseason's been so unsexy. It's been so it's almost been kind of boring. Like it's so predictable right now that they're bringing in all these former Patriots players, and they've lost some key pieces at least a key piece in Graham Glasgow, and then another one in Ashawn Robinson. But they've also signed guys to replace them outside of Graham's spot. But either way, their offseason's just been so meh. It's not exciting. It's not, they've basically stayed as good, if not a little bit worse or a little bit better. They've done nothing, in my opinion. So it's a C. Anyways, though, that is going to close it out for this week, guys. We apologize for the 2 weeks off. Obviously, with the craziness going on, it's been very hard for us to get together to record. We've now gotten the logistics together for us to be able to record separately at each other's houses, at our own houses, I should say, so that we can get things kind of moving forward here.
We've gone portable.
We have gone portable. But we thank you guys for being patient, and we will be back next week. Thank you guys again. Follow us on Twitter at RealFanReport. Hit us up there if there's any topics you want to talk about or if there's anything. And we are opening the topic board or the topic book wide open. Because of the nature of sports where it is right now, it's wide open, at least for the time being. So gonna have to get a little creative. So thank you guys again for listening. Andrew, thank you as well. And we will catch you guys next week. Sir. This has been the Fan Reporters by fans.
For fans.
Have a good one, guys. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay inside. Stay healthy.
Wash your hands.
Yes.